think part of what causes the cough is also an empty stomach. I haven't eaten at all today because I woke up late and was late to a client appointment, so skip breakfast, skip coffee and everything. And I notice also that when I sit in the car, it also triggers a cough, and I think that's probably because I slouch when I'm sitting in the car. But what I wanted to discuss with you guys today, before I got interrupted by the cough yet again, is the realization that you know, your mother, and I'm sure I've talked about this before, but it's impacted me yet again. You know, your mother once taught me and told me that at work there are no friends. Sorry, I feel the cough coming back. It's definitely from an empty stomach because I feel gurgling, and then like it gurgles in my throat, and I think that's like gas, maybe from the emptiness of the stomach, I assume, that gurgles up, and then, you know, due to maybe a sensitive trachea, esophagus, from years of coughing, which again goes to the whole point of the pseudoephedrine, the nasal decongestant that I was telling you. That was impacting me as well, because what the pseudoephedrine and nasal decongestant does, it dries up your nasal passages and sucks out the blood, I think, so that way your nasal passages open. Because if I'm not mistaken, when you don't use the pseudoephedrine, your nose has normal blood flow, and because there's blood in your nasal passages, it causes a little bit of a closing, if you will, oh, it's still recording, of your nasal walls. The nasal decongestant, or the pseudoephedrine, what that would do is take out that blood, if you will, which in turn causes dryness of the nasal area, the throat, which then I noticed would cause like a trigger, like, you know, air, breathing too deeply, you know, anything. So ever since I stopped taking the pseudoephedrine and the nasal decongestant, I've noticed about I'm going to say an 85 to 90% drop in coughs, which is good. That's a huge difference. The rest is other factors. But going back to the topic of conversation that I really wanted to speak to you about, your mother once said to me, there's no such thing as, shit, I'm missing a pen. I hope I didn't lose my Harvard pen. Yeah, hopefully it's in the office. But your mother once said that there are no friends at work, and she was right. And you've heard stories from me before about coworkers betraying me and backstabbing me, and, you know, it happened yet again this time. And I'm not going to bore you with the details, but basically, maybe even for my own self-reminder, the new branch manager, Jason Ojeda, came to the office one day and he wanted me to wear a mask, even though my office is all the way in the back. No one comes to my area. I'm alone in my office most of the time, simply because the bankers suck at putting appointments on my calendar. But, you know, because of state regulations, he was informing me about, you know, that everyone has to wear a mask even if you have an office and closed doors. Because I viewed him as a friend, I shared my sentiment with him, which is stupid. I'm not going to wear a mask when I'm by myself in the office. I wasn't trying to be rude. I wasn't trying to be, you know, a dick with him. I was expressing my frustration over the stupidity of this topic. It's stupid. But for whatever reason, I don't know if it's ego, I don't know what it is, but he took offense to my statements. Now, keep in mind, this is a guy who, and when I got called by Human Resources because of this stupidity, the way that I said it to them, you know, this is a guy who I would josh around with, joke around with, talk about, you know, a whole bunch of stuff. We mutually shared political beliefs and opinions, you know, about the stupidity of liberals and, you know, and Democrats and blah, blah, blah. And we openly talked about it. You know, this is a guy who, you know, would all the time say, hey, yo, every time some type of sexual innuendo came up in the conversation, which made me feel uncomfortable. But I just never said anything because I considered him a friend. And as a friend, I'm not going to throw you under the bus. I'm not going to get you in trouble. I'm not even going to mention the fact that the AO bothered me. I left it alone because whatever, you're my buddy, you're my friend. And I viewed him as a business partner. And as a business partner and as a friend, I was going to do everything on my part to help his business grow at the branch level. Because there are things that I could do that I don't have to do. That would have significantly impacted his branch in a very positive way. That I don't have to do. But I was starting to do it, that now I'm just not going to because I don't have to. And it's not illegal, it's not against corporate ethics, it's not anything bad or wrong, but I'll tell you the story someday maybe. But the point that I really want to focus on is, I made the mistake of viewing him as a friend, and instead he, because of my saying to him, I'm not wearing a mask, and saying it as if I was speaking to a friend, he went to my boss and complained about what I said. And I got upset because I'm like, here's the second time now that he goes to my boss over what is really stupid shit. And you're supposed to be my friend, my buddy, my business partner, which, by the way, was the other mistake that I made. I viewed him as a business partner. He, on the other hand, in my opinion, viewed me as if I was an employee on his team, which I'm not. I make 4 times the amount he makes in income. I am a higher title than he is. He's not even in my realm, but he's the branch manager of the branch. That doesn't mean he's my manager at all. But instead of viewing me as the partner that he was supposed to, he viewed me as an employee on his team. And therefore, since I guess I wasn't like obeying his, rules or whatever, because again, I would have worn the stupid mask. Of course, I would have tried to find workarounds and things like that, but nothing that would impact him in a negative way, and I would work with him. And I told him when I first met him the same thing that it's every fucking person that I meet at Chase. Give me feedback because I like feedback, but know that my modus operandi is to always give you pushback first. I first give you pushback, but I promise you that when I go home, I think about it, I chew on it, and 9 out of 10 times I adjust and adapt to what you're looking for. The same thing would have happened here, but he didn't give me the opportunity to. Within a half hour, I got called by my boss about this mask thing, and then he and I got into an argument because Michael Hay is frustrated. He's my boss because he's under a lot of pressure because he's not performing well in his territory. Oradell is not working, not because of me, but because the fucking bankers, we have a cycle of bankers who are unable to put investment appointments on anyone's calendar, right? And instead of Mike having the balls and saying like, yeah, I'm sorry, Bankside, but you guys suck at what you do, he allows them to point the finger at me and these little stupid things that happen as if I'm the reason, I'm the bad guy, and it's pathetic and stupid. In either event, this asshole Ojeda, who I made the mistake of lowering my guard and speaking to as a friend, went to Ojeda, and a couple of days after that, I tried to contact him so that we could speak about it, because again, as a friend, as someone who I considered my boy, who we spoke to each other as boys, who we would speak to each other at nighttime, who he would show me pictures of girls on Instagram that he liked and whatever, and who I would say like, hey, come meet me for a drink, I'm paying for the drinks. This was my boy. I reached out to him like, hey man, let's talk about this, because I was offended by the fact that yet again he went to Wohey. And I wanted to speak to him and be like, hey man, am I misunderstanding this relationship? He didn't respond for an entire weekend, despite 3 attempts for me to contact him. And then finally he responds. And he says, this is like multiple days later, he's like, I'm tired of dealing with you. Speak to your manager going forward. What the fuck? So that, in my mind, is what solidified that clearly he views me as just an employee, if you will. So I said to him, remember this. Right? That was the only thing I said. And that remember this was a statement that I made because I knew that for the month of January, I was going to have about $1 million in sales that he wasn't aware of. And I knew that in February, I had keyed up about another 1.5, maybe even more. I'm not sure at this juncture. But there was about to be 2.5 million in sales that I was going to execute for his branch. And this money, by the way, was money that I didn't have to give to him. I'm not obliged to give to him or his branch or his bankers because they come from my book from another branch. And that I have every right to go to that branch and to those bankers and say, hey, let me give you the business, especially since the money is currently at those branches. But I have the ability to say, I'm going to work with my banker in Oradell Silva instead and give the money to Oradell. And that's what I was doing because I viewed this asshole as a partner and I wanted to help him. And as a result, I was bringing about $3 million in business in the month of January and February to this fucking cocksucker. So when I said remember this, it was in the hopes that he would remember how petty and stupid this whole topic of a fucking mask is relative to everything that I was doing for him and that I could have done for him. Because now I'm not going to do it. Because then he had the audacity to go to my boss and say the branch has lost faith in Mike Rosero. That's bullshit. Because the bankers I have no issues with. It's just him. But because my boss and his boss, you know, they're going to by default listen to what he says and assume that he's speaking on behalf of the branch, they're going with what he said. So the bankers now have the option to refer to me or to other advisors that are outside of the branch. And this asshole Ojeda, he actually tried to make it that these bankers would only refer to these other advisors. Well, first of all, I put a dead stop to that immediately because that wasn't anything that even Marianne or Mike was going to agree to. Number two, to this day, there's still no fucking appointments. There was 2 appointments. One for a measly $25,000 and another for $100,000, which was one of my existing clients. These bankers are unable to produce business. I was this guy's only hope to make a difference in this branch and for him to have a bonus. But he failed to view me as a partner. He failed to view me as the friend that I thought he was. He tried to fucking do me dirty. So now, just how he has the right to say, oh, the branch has lost faith in, you know, Mike Rosero as an advisor and he wants the ability for them to refer to other advisors. Well, guess what, asshole? I don't have to refer my book of business, my clients, and what I uncover on my own to your branch or to your bankers. Just the way that you don't want your bankers to refer to me. So at the end of the day, the person who's going to suffer is him. Because I have the majority of my book of clients is outside of his branch. So he fucked up. He just doesn't know it. He doesn't realize it. I think he's too stupid or ego-driven to realize it. Or he's telling himself that, oh, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. Well, all right. Keep thinking that. But anyway, once again jaded, once again fucked over by someone. And the lesson that I've learned, you know, there's this other advisor in the branch. His name is John Mangini. And when I first met him, I used to think he was so dry, like, so, like, you know, mean. Like, he's a hello, goodbye. That's it. No conversation, no joking, no standing around and getting into conversations with you. You know, he's like the opposite of me. Me, on the other hand, I was the fucking social butterfly. Talking with everyone, doing magic tricks. For example, even with, you know, at work, to make people smile, you know, to make them laugh. You know, one time, you know, if you recall from a previous story, got in trouble because I bought a teller a candle strictly because I felt bad that she wanted it. She bought it for herself. She had intended to win that candle back for herself because of the game that we were playing called the White Elephant Christmas game, where you can pick anything that's in the pot. And she was disappointed that she didn't get it. I felt bad for her. So in my kindness and my good heart, I bought it for her, you know, because I understand, you know, what that is, like that little thing of like, all right, you know, trying to play the system, but then you didn't get that candle set that you really wanted. I felt bad, so I got her the fucking candle set. Well, you know, she maliciously or innocently, you know, to this day I don't know, and I do think that she was manipulated by the former branch manager beforehand, Saeed. I think he blew this up significantly more, but she complained because she thought that maybe I was flirting with her, some bullshit. Like, first of all, you're not even close to my type. I don't even see you that way. You know, I was being fucking friendly. But the point that I'm making is, because I was the antithesis of this guy, John Mangini, he was very dry. Just, hi, good morning. Goes straight to his office, focuses on work, doesn't talk to anyone. The only thing he talks about is work. If you got something to talk about work, great. If you ask him, how's your day? Oh, it's good. How's your day? Great. Moves on. Me, on the other hand, like a fucking idiot, having conversations, joking, blah, blah, blah. You know, and all it did is get me in trouble, thinking that these people were your friends. You know, your mother was right. So now what I'm doing is I come in, good morning, everyone, go to my office, which is all the way in the back, close the door, just do work. If someone comes, knocks the door, I open, you know, let them in, talk about business, that's it. If they ask me about my day, oh, everything's great, how about you? Fantastic, move on. And that's what you guys are going to have to do, because you know what? People are going to think you're an asshole, but you're going to save yourself a fucking buttload of headaches, because what I've realized is that humans are selfish, egotistical, dirty, backhanded, miserable people that will always look out for themselves first, to the detriment of someone else, who will never admit that they're wrong, who will always, you know, have their ego at the forefront of everything that they do. You know? And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of dealing with them. And because of this, and I know this is a long video, but, you know, I'm pretty much decided that I'm walking away from JP Morgan. My goal is July 1st for my 45th birthday. That's in about 5 months. Realistically, it's probably going to be January 1st of 2022 when I walk away. My businesses outside of JP Morgan are doing really well, and I just need to confirm a couple of final things, save up money, so that way if one business in particular blows up, which is the main thing for me, which has, you know, replaced my JP Morgan income, I just need to have enough cash saved up, so that way if that business fails, I can replenish that business with, you know, new money. I'd like to have, you know, certain debts paid off, like with doing surgery on your mom in a couple of weeks, presumably. You know, I'd like to pay off that surgery so that there's no debt, you know. But assuming I get all that done, and assuming that the second business continues to work the way that it has been, I'm walking away, because I'm tired of humans. I'm tired of their ego. I can go on and on about different humans who have, like, you know, been shady with me time and time again. No matter how nice I try to be to them, they are shady as dog shit. You know, my fucking dog Frijol is more faithful than these fucking shady humans. No wonder on Facebook and Instagram I've seen memes and jokes about how, you know, faithful dogs are, and how, you know, people prefer animals than humans, and how animals are better than humans. They're fucking right. Because my dog will lick the shit out of me and defend me to the death, even if it means him fucking dying. Whereas a human being will throw you under the bus faster than you can say, help. No, don't. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of these fucking humans. You know, and although I'm making a lot of money right now, you know what? I'm not fucking traveling the world I want to. You know, so I'm changing how I do things. You know, and that's it. That's what I wanted to share with you. Love you guys. Learn from my mistakes. I'm gonna get some breakfast now. Take care.